Hello, my name is Connor Hernacki, and I'll be talking in the defense of illegal immigrants. A big issue of debate among current affairs is the topic of immigration. However, immigration has many benefits, as it brings people with different backgrounds and traditions together so they can learn from one another and, in some cases, mix cultures together. The economy can also be supported by immigration because, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, immigrants make up approximately 18.1% of the U.S. workforce. However, the public often frames the debate over immigration in terms of legal, documented immigrants versus illegal, undocumented immigrants. This is based on the fact that immigrants either enter the U.S. via the registration system so they can become formal citizens, or they can choose to enter without registering, thereby avoiding the rights and duties of citizenship. Current efforts to deal with illegal immigration are ineffective, use resources inefficiently, and result in immigrants facing harsh conditions. So a better approach to the problem would be to eliminate the motivation for immigrants to enter the U.S. without registering. In this next session, we must ask the question, are illegal immigrants truly illegal? When answering, we must first consider the connotation behind the phrase. It invokes moral judgment and linguistically lumps undocumented migrants together with people who violate our criminal laws. Gottfried Ungerperson, a professor of sociology at Erasmus University, Rotterdam, reports how, quote, "The perception of illegal immigrants reflects the division between wanted and unwanted migrants, which is the result of the shift towards a restrictive policy. Many immigrants do not mean harm and are often seeking better opportunities, safety, and security for their families. These immigrants have chosen to go against the system to become registered as a citizen so they can live life more easily, which is similar to how Ted Thomas, the director of commanding in the U.S. Army, along with Eeyore Charlotte, discussed instances where soldiers make decisions contrary to what the authorities command in order to make the better choice. In other words, the term illegal is used to separate some individuals from others in order to choose who is to be welcomed based on subjective morality." Moving on to the next matter, many illegal immigrants are not too different from individuals known as asylum seekers. Asylum seekers are migrants who flee from their own nations because of oppression of dangerous living conditions, and under international law, nations are required to accept immigrants who have a valid claim of asylum. Didier Fassin, a French sociologist, found that, quote, "Asylum seekers today are essentially constructed within the framework of emergence of refugees as a third world problem. Therefore, asylum seekers are often searching for refuge within a safe nation, and many undocumented immigrants may also have a valid asylum claims as they escape the pleasures of their home country." Now, how is the U.S. registration system unfair? First of all, registration typically takes about a decade or more until immigrants are finally become citizens. And in that time, immigrants may experience lots of things in their life, including marriage, college, raising families, and so forth. That is to say, the time it takes to register to be a citizen is far too long for many immigrants seeking asylum. Hence, many more are entering illegally. And now we shall talk about dissuasions, persuasions, and the solutions. Society as a whole suffers from illegal immigration because there are inefficient resources to meet the needs of everyone who arrives. These immigrants need food, money, and shelter in their new nation, and it comes from the government aid that comes from the taxes paid by other citizens. Amnesty alone effectively incentivizes immigrants to avoid the legal path of citizenship with significant reward. But in some instances, the government has used tax revenue to help undocumented immigrants with food and shelter. But the shelter was in high-quality apartments, so they costed much more. So, from Karen Zrake, a reporter primarily covering federal law enforcement, explained that when the government tried moving them into cheaper but lower-quality shelters, the immigrants were unhappy and began protesting, which annoyed the taxpayers footing the bill. And so, the effort to help aid illegal immigrants can be viewed as using too many resources with little hope to improve the system. Now, although the illegal immigration has taken a toll on public resources, it would be morally right to find a way to. Most immigrants have arrived into our country to be safe from struggles from their home countries. And in turn, they strengthen our labor force and enrich our society with the influence of unique cultures. So even when they are rejected, or the process takes very long, they take the courage to disobey the government in order to improve the lives of their family, which is best portrayed by Doris Lessing's novel, The Habit of Loving, where under the section labeled Through the Tunnel, she illustrates the boy's desire to enter the underwater tunnel, and even though she fails, he continues to progressively learn from his mistakes. Ultimately, illegal immigrants are often morally right for entering the land undocumented because of the courage and effort they've put into living in a safe environment. So, what are the solutions to illegal immigrants? We work in the registration system to become a citizen is the best way to deal with the growing number of undocumented immigrants. Many of them are like asylum seekers. They seek refuge while their home nation faces struggle. If the process to become a citizen takes too long or is difficult to complete, then many will avoid the process because the other way is easier and immediate. Hence, countless immigrants have taken up the courage to go against the registration system and enter the U.S. immediately. But here's the thing. This is not an act meant to go against the entirety of the U.S. government. It is simply a boycott against the current registration system so that society can learn from it and deal with it soon. In short, if we want to start seeing big changes in our nation, we need to work as a society to modernize our current systems in favor of others. And here's my source. Thank you for listening. Here's my source.